Welcome to 10 Talks, real conversations for champions with champions, where a champion life is a 10 life. Thank you for joining our team today. I'm Carlette Patterson, your head sports life coach at the Life Training Academy, and it's our desired outcome to share our passion for sports life coaching by training you to live a 10 life. You and your life matter. Let's get coached. I want to move on to Helen in terms of Helen's in New Zealand. And Helen, tell us what's going on kind of all the way around the world in terms of your athletes and the things that you've really determined to be winning strategies through this season.
Well, it's worldwide. All the same things are going on, and I'm hearing little bits of what I would consider the same stories I'm hearing here from the rest of the team. And there's been a lot of athletes. I think probably the thing that sticks out to me the most is uncertainty. So some were preparing for the event that was going to allow them to go to the Olympics. Now that event was cancelled, but then at that stage the Olympics was still on, so it's okay. How was this going to work? And then the Olympics was cancelled, and is going to be postponed later this year, next year, whatever. I had a team that I worked with who went to Australia to finish their season. Then the season stopped, but they're in a hiatus at the moment. So the questions are, is it going to go on? Isn't it? So the thing that's pervasive across everything is the huge amount of uncertainty. And I mean, none of us know what the governments are planning, when this thing is going to end. And uncertainty is a really hard thing to deal with because our energy comes and goes from different places. So the stuff that I'm talking to our athletes about is, where are you getting your energy from and what are you giving your energy to? So again, a lot of things that we've already heard today. I mean, physically, these the ones who are preparing for championships, so they're very purposeful, intentional about their day, what they were eating, their sleep patterns, all that sort of stuff, and that platform for setting themselves up really well. So then the routine goes out the window. So pretty much so does everything else. And they were connected to something. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm getting up at this time of the morning. This is why I'm training really hard. This is what I'm going to do in that training. And then mentally, we all know what it's like and have time all day to do things, but you don't feel like doing something. It doesn't matter how much time you have. It just doesn't get done. And when you can't connect to something, or your self-talk is negative, or it's not serving you very well, then it's really hard to get motivated and to get energy from anywhere. Now, again, if we're not seeing the people that we love, or if we're those sort of people that will really thrive from being in social situations and we feed off others, our interaction with other people is what really lights us up. And that's a really difficult place to be. I call it like the energy tap. Our energy management tool is amazing. You just see that energy going out the window. So one of the things that we've been talking about a lot, and giving some grace to people to find their feet around, how does this affect me, and acknowledging it as a massive issue and huge uncertainty out there, and none of us know when it's going to end, is, where am I in the scheme of things? Get on that balcony, have a good look. Where are my strengths? What sort of person am I? Am I a doer or a thinker or a talker or whatever it might be? How do I like to learn? What's going to work for me? If I'm for instance, for Andy, for instance, if she's a doer, then people, and I know this myself, if I set up a good routine for myself, if I know, the first thing I do in the morning is I do a little bit of exercise, my day goes really well. And then if I have everything slotted in, it's written down on that piece of paper, it's going to happen. But if I don't do that, it's just a big hot mess sometimes. So organising myself, having that optimal daily training tool has really worked well for me. And then thinking about, what do I need to be my best? And those things are there, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of space to go back and go, get back out on that balcony, use that balcony tool and figure out, what is it? When I'm at my best, what does that look like? And how am I going to put that in place? and how am I going to keep doing those things that keep me in that really good spot.
Well, Helen, everything that you're speaking to is really our me cue, the intelligence of me. And you just did a beautiful description of really using this time to figure out me. You know, who am I? What's important to me? What's my purpose? Who am I connected to? Really evaluating from a stats perspective. Am I living a 10 life? Are my choices 8, 9s, and 10s? Like, what is happening in my world? And usually we're so busy that we don't have the opportunity to really stop and reset and see kind of, you know, am I evaluating from a perspective of what's important to me? Or am I evaluating and really running my life according to what other people have said for me to do? Or, you know, that kind of thing. So you've done a beautiful job of really introducing just a collection of our tools, all with the desired outcome to help a person really know themselves. And we can use this time to know ourselves better so that when we come into our new season, we get to show up different in a way that's been very intentional. And we've trained to be a 10 me rather than training to be something that maybe was taken away from us. And, you know, what an interesting season to see what that looks like when we've had the opportunity to devote time to training ourselves from a me cue perspective, really understanding the intelligence of me when usually we're studying and, you know, training and just going 100 miles an hour. So, you know, beautiful job on that. I do want to talk more, Helen, about purpose for our whole team. I want to introduce Jason. He just joined us. He's from New Zealand as well. And Jason, just give us a quick introduction and then we'll fold you right into our conversation.
Hi team. So yeah, my name's Jason. I trained with Carly probably, seems like a long time ago, 10 or 12 years ago, and then did this master coach program as well with Carly. Currently working in rugby and netball and high performance sport New Zealand for in the athlete life and mental skills area.
So thank you, Jason. We're going to catch up with you in a bit. We're just going to start to finish kind of what we were talking about before we dive into a new topic. And so Team Helen did a beautiful job of really introducing purpose. And I think for most athletes, it's been very well defined in terms of exactly the season they're training for, what exactly their personal goals are, as well as playing for a team, having that extra energy to really play for something bigger than themselves, for their teammates. Jane, you certainly have your team playing for their corporation, playing for just, you know, being their very best professionally. And all of this got taken away. I mean, it's still there. It's just defined really differently. So let's talk about the power of purpose and how do we anchor into a purpose when it gets changed very dramatically, and how do we still stay true to ourselves and stay true to the purpose of sport, high performance, certainly great performance professionally, when really the structure and that dream team around us has been taken away. So Helen, just expand a bit on that as you introduced us to that.
So with the whole idea of purposes, it brings a lot of energy, and I guess this is where I started as well. If we know, if we can connect to something that strengthens us in our pathway, it gives us a lot of energy in terms of, well, we can keep going when the times get tough, and those times are tough when things change, when things are very uncertain, when the people that we might have otherwise relied on aren't there anymore. So it enables us to work through all that and look back to where we're coming from. What is it about us that's going to enable us to succeed? What are the things that have set us up in the past? What are the things that we know about ourselves that can help us through this time and keep us going towards that purpose? That's really, when I think about those sort of things, it's other stuff that people have mentioned today as well. The great tools like the strength tools and being very secure in that and working with those tools towards our intentional end.
Love that. And so Jason, let's just step right in and have you catch up with us from a purpose perspective. Tell us what you really anchor into as you coach up your athletes for purpose.
I think it was the work that we did with you, because that's what Helen was reflecting on as well. And it's three things that really came to me. There's three things that I guess that I anchored around the power of purpose, and that's that people are expert about their own lives. the power of relationship, and the purpose of, I guess, the importance of being kind to yourself. So they're the three big rocks that I work from. And so I think they're just really, when I'm always lost or I'm lost, or it's a bit like in the bush, if you're going for a walk and you're lost, it's coming back to that compass and that purpose. So when I get lost and I keep on looking for answers somewhere else, I stop and get myself to reflect and I guess watch a film and come back to those things. And so the answers are always there for me, and my power of purpose, I know they're there, but I just don't see them from time to time. So when I come back to those, they just change how I operate as a person, as a coach, and as a dad, and everything else. I lose sight of them all the time, by the way.
Yeah, well, I think that's really easy. I love the definition of our purpose being our compass, so that when we get off track, we're able to really bring it back. And Jason, I really respect what you said about having it be internal, like we have the answers. I think that's one thing that we're so passionate about as sports life coaches, is that we are your coach. We are here to bring out the best in you. And we never give advice. We don't know what's best for your life. We know our tools. We know what we're passionate about from a training perspective. We have all been certified in our sports life coaching, and we practice. And that is what we can be an expert in. And as your coach, we can stand beside you and really ask the right questions and help you figure out your life in a way that's really anchored in purpose, anchored in what matters to you, and really start to anchor in those relationships. And as we step into being challenged, we can remember to, what's important to us, rather than asking other people to validate us or really rely on that. So Melissa, tell us some winning strategies for you when it comes to anchoring into purpose.
I think building relationships, and I think time is one of the things I realized when we went through the power of purpose, the value of time. And here we are, all of a sudden, we have time. And, it's a little bit daunting to know, there's almost so much I want to do with this time that I have to pare it down. I have to, keep it simple and prioritize. There's this section of me that, for my work, professionally, personally, like I stumbled upon a course for well-being from Yale that was a free course.
I'm taking that too.
There you go. So I'm like stumble on these different things. I'm like, oh gosh, do I have time for this? I'm like, yes, I have time for this. And so really, just accepting that, but still having to make my to-do list of when to do it. And, the structure is where I struggle a bit. So I just have to keep my structure and so that helps me stay on track to find, to stay grounded in my purpose. And, I've got a team of young ladies that rely on me to be their leader. And so I have to stay grounded and, with what I'm trying, I have to really be thoughtful about what message am I trying to communicate to them. And, a lot of them have really embraced the fact that they're having more time with their families, especially my seniors who, they realize that their lives are really about to change. And then given the opportunity to come back for another year, they're like coming back to the cocoon, they don't have to leave right away. But they're really embracing time with their families. I mean, the athletes are, our sport will play year round. I know basketball, they're on campus all year round. I mean, it's actually a little crazy. And I think people are tired and just embracing the fact that things have slowed down. And I've told them, like, it will never, hopefully it'll never be like this again. And so we should just enjoy this.
Yeah. Well, I love adding joy to purpose, right? So being on purpose and being joyful about it, finding the joy in the small things. And I love you just embracing time. I know that's a huge gift that we've been given here, is just the power of time. what do we do with it? How do we invest it wisely? And I love turning it inward and saying, how can I really be purposeful in what I'm doing? So love you being a great model to your athletes, as well as you really practice the live it to give it model, which we're passionate about. So thank you for that. Jane, tell us about your thoughts on power of purpose.
Well, so power of purpose, after having gone through the course with you too, I know for me is love. And so I've been really anchoring in that and really trying to, it's much harder to love and work on myself than to, share it and give it to everybody else. But I'm trying to do that in terms of staying in touch, reaching out, connecting, and just being a person that they can rely on and count on if they need me. But also, Wayne Dwyer has this great quote about purpose. Sometimes your purpose is what you're doing that day. And so I think, to not get lost in maybe the bigger purpose that we're serving, but the purpose for that day in light of all of the grief and all of the chaos and all of the uncertainty that can be happening. So for me, it's sometimes anchoring in what's my purpose for that day. And it might change.
Love that.
Just,
and love the
just to make it smaller.
Yeah. And I love the self-compassion part, team. I hope you are really hearing that, can our purpose be in this season to really be compassionate towards ourselves and others? And, we're going to show up so different if we can really bring in that compassion, because I know as athletes and high achievers, we are constantly going from good to great. Every single detail matters to us. And we've got the language in our head going constantly, get better, get better, get better. And is there a time we can take that competitive greatness and really anchor it in how can I get better for myself? How can I really understand my family? How can I really anchor in a purpose for the day, for the moment, in a way that's really honoring? And I think that's something new as athletes and high achievers, even in the workforce. We're so focused on producing a result and really having that win based on, did we do according to what other people consider a win? And when we bring purpose back to ourselves, it's the moment where we can say, is this what I needed to do today for me, for my family? And, can we get back to such a simple way that we can practice. So when we get back into our busy lives and our full lives, that we've taken something amazing from this experience and gotten some great muscle memory of doing the reps. That's all purpose, intention, compassion, kindness. I mean, some really powerful ways of new thinking. So Jennifer, thoughts on purpose, just being able to anchor into that.
Well, I think that what you were saying is kind of honoring where you are in that moment of today. I really need to put the intention into going on a long walk and being in nature and feeling okay with myself, because I think a lot of times as moms, and we don't usually give ourselves that time to give ourselves what we need. And so as we feel selfish about what we're doing, but we're really giving more than we think we're giving. So I think honoring that has been hard, but knowing that today I need just to go walk and be okay with that side of me. And then maybe tomorrow I can work on the coach side of me. So I think just kind of giving grace or pouring grace on ourselves is just as important. So I think that's where I am, of trying to honor the fact that I need to be outside when the sun's out. If the sun's in Iowa, we need to be outside. And so it's not always
That's
there.
the power of moments, right? Capturing those moments and being like,
yes, we got to savor all of that we can. So, taking pictures of the sun so I can see it tomorrow when it's not there, and just honoring and giving to that intention that I need that today, and being okay that tomorrow I'll hit this harder. So I think that's the whole part of giving ourselves a little bit of grace, that we would, talk to yourself like you talk to your best friend. So
huge winning strategy. I love that grace and compassion, and just again going back to the simple things of what is it that I need today, and what, really tuning into that me cue component about, what about me? What do I need, rather than constantly be performing or looking at ways to reach out to other people. Yes, all those things are great. And also we got to start with us. We got to make us a 10 so we can give that 10. So Jason, I know you came in a little bit later. We'd love to hear some of your winning strategies, your top 10 list for really how you're getting through this season with yourself, your clients, your family, so that we can learn from it.
I think just listening to everybody else and going back to the purpose, the key piece that I've learned out of all this is that other skill that to add to that is that watch your film, because the key thing about living in the moment, and that is to be able to connect to that purpose for the day, so be it rituals, routines, structure, whatever you call, but the ability to be able to go, here's my purpose, and bring it down in simple, like you said, for the day. But then at the end of the day, to be able to reflect and watch our film and have that learning piece from it. So therefore we can close that loop for the day, and then we can start again the next day. So that start again, that begin again type components. So the seasons are actually really short. They're like daily seasons.
Yeah,
and I think that's been the key thing. I think for me, when we used to working in a season with all these other people that put the outcomes around us. So here's the coach, they put the outcome around me. Here's the competition that puts the outcome around me. We've taken the outcome away, and people don't like it. And our brains don't like it. So it's about creating our own structure and our own rituals and routines that are based on that. But often the key piece for me is the actual watching their film at the end. It's what our athletes do all the time. If they didn't watch their film, they'd never get better. So understanding that closes the loop and sets us up for the next day and the next season, and then the next one, and then the next one. And that helps us live in that present, in that space that we're trying to live all the time, but we're trying to get ahead of ourselves as well. So that's probably the piece that I've been trying to apply to myself the most, and then talking about that with my athletes and my coaches, and work with them and go, hey, how do we slow this down? We do this by being really intentional, having a clear purpose, but reflecting and watching a film on that purpose and see how we went, so we can set the next day up for success, however that might be.
Team, that is a huge tool of ours. It's called Watch Your Film. It does come from sport, in terms of athletes are totally trained and really thrive on being able to sit down after a performance or even a practice and watch their film. And I wish we had that same tool in life. So we have really brought the tool from sports life coaching from sport into life in our sports life coaching. And we've done that by just the visual of anytime you do something, take a moment and really watch your film, look back on that. What's great about film is that it's already happened. So for instance, in sport, when we watch the film of a basketball game, we're not going back and trying to rewrite the film or act as if, we didn't lose the game or win the game. Film is already complete. So as Jason did a beautiful job there, when we want to learn, we want to watch the film, which means the day is complete. Watch our film of the day. What did we learn from it? What worked? What didn't work? What was a 7? How could we raise it to an 8? What were our 10 moments? We're literally breaking down and evaluating our day as intentionally as we would a sport. So we're using our stat tool on a scale of 1 to 10. How did I invest my time, my energy, my emotions, including rest, recovery, having fun, joy, being outside, all of those great things. We're really analyzing the day as if every day is game day. That's really what we've stepped into in this season. And being able to, at the end of the day, with great satisfaction, just like we would in sport, be able to close the day and be like, the game is over. Whether we won or lost, we can win by learning from it. And that's really a gift that I hope you can take from our conversation today. We've had lots of tools that we've given you. We've really anchored into MeQ, really the power of understanding the intelligence of me and celebrating you, your seasons, the things that are happening. And Jason, thank you for bringing in that component of really making sure that we're evaluating ourselves from a strengths perspective, and from really, what am I learning about myself, about my family, about my friends, about what I need. So it's been a 10 for me to be able to share our coaches. They're all amazing sports life coaches. We do our coaching at the Life Training Academy. So if you're interested in getting coached, these are your coaches. It's a 10 to be able to serve and support you. They are coaching in their universities and in New Zealand and around the world. And they're also committed to coaching you virtually online at the Life Training Academy. So coaches, thank you for your passion to be a coach, for serving, supporting, giving hope. And I look forward to seeing you at our next Monday night. We get together once a week to train as a team, and we hope you, team, are getting together constantly with your friends, family, and everybody that's attend to you. So good night. Thank you, team. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Carlette, for pulling us all together. We just love
Call
it.
your life play.
Yeah, call your life play 1 to 5, team. How are we right this moment?
All
Woo-hoo.
right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, team. Thank you for listening. We'd like to get you coached up, so head over to iTunes and Spotify and hit subscribe. And remember, a champion life is a 10 life. You and your life matter. Create a life that you love, give hope to others, and be and choose nothing but 10s. Be you, the world needs you. Go to lifetrainingacademy.com to start your training and get coached.